Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be recapping my first ever marathon. I'm going to cover the lead up, how it went, and what's next. Let's get right into it. Leading up to the race, I honestly felt really fit. I didn't have any hiccups in my training during the summer. It was an October race, so I had been training since May back in New York, which is where the race was. And then I moved to Oklahoma towards the end of August, and I had to finish my training in the brutal heat. But I felt really good. I wasn't doing a crazy amount of mileage. Personally, low mileage works better for me. I've gotten hurt a couple times in college by doing too much, and for my first marathon, I really wanted to be on the cautious side of things. I'll put up my Strava here, but I was doing less than 50 miles a week, and my long run was accounting for about half of my weekly mileage, which again, probably isn't the smartest, but again, I'm learning. I had one issue with my ankle towards the beginning of September, but I took a day or two off and then I felt fine. I had put together some good long runs. I had a 20-mile long run at 7:20 pace, which felt very relaxed. My longest run before the marathon was 22 miles. I was kind of just praying I would clutch up those last 4 miles. I did all of my training in the A6 Gel Nimbus 27s, I think. And I was super excited to put on my super shoes come race day. I had left them in New York so I wouldn't be tempted to use them for a workout or a long run. I raced in the OG Nike Alpha Flies. The race was on a Sunday and we flew back to New York on a Thursday to give myself a couple days to get back into a routine. But at this point, things were looking good. Training went well, preparation went well, or so I thought. Now, let's talk about race day. I gotta say, I was feeling really good. I went to the bathroom like 3 times the night before and I felt super empty. I think I got around 6 hours of sleep, which is fine because I was resting a lot in the previous days. I wanted to do a little bit of a warm-up before the race. I had never really done so for my long runs and training because I would just use the first mile or so as a warm-up. But I ended up jogging 5 to 7 minutes beforehand to get a little something in. This was definitely a learning experience and I have a better idea of what to do for next time. But anyway, the gun goes off and I'm chilling. I found my pack right away. Everybody started the race at the same time, so the majority of people that I was running with were actually running the half marathon. I was in a group with a pacer holding a 1 hour and 30-minute half marathon pace. So that's 3 hours for the marathon, which is right where I wanted to be. I'm going to be putting my splits up on the screen just so I don't have to go through every single one. Now, for my first marathon, I gotta say, it was beautiful. We were running over the Robert Moses Bridge and the views were just incredible. I had driven over this bridge countless times and to be running over it was a really cool experience. I was really just enjoying my time for the first 7 miles. I may have gone out a little too spicy, but again, it was a pace that I thought I could handle. But then something happened that I did not account for. There was a turnaround spot at the end of the bridge. So the group that I was running with, for the people running the half marathon, they had to turn around. And the few people running the full marathon kept going. This is really where I got in my head and it started to hurt mentally. I look ahead and there's only like 8 people in front of me. I'm sitting in top 10, going 250, 255 pace. It was looking really good. But when I tell you it got so boring, that's an understatement. I was in no man's land for the next stretch of about 15 miles. I saw maybe 3 spectators out on the course. That was something I wasn't prepared for. I had done all of my training and preparation alone, and so I was used to running 20 miles by myself. But for a race, when you're going that fast for that long, the energy of the crowd and even the people around you do help a lot and push you. But there was this one straightaway for about 8 miles where I had just gotten super negative. I was like, how am I gonna do this? There's no way I'm gonna finish this. And that's what hurt me. At around mile 15, I stopped to pee. And comment down below if you think this hurt me, because 2 miles later, I started cramping so badly. Maybe I shouldn't have stopped. They say that once you stop running, it's a lot harder to get back into it. I maybe could have held it, but I still had 11 miles left. And so I was like, let me just go really quickly. And this is where things really went wrong. From mile 17 until the end of the race, I couldn't run more than 400 meters without having to stop and massage my legs from cramping. Looking back on it, I don't know what I could have done differently. I'm thinking that maybe I should have just taken one really long break of like 10-15 minutes and just massaged and stretched out my legs, and then kept going. But I still wanted to finish in a good time, so I was pushing through every 400 meters. Stretch. 400 meters, stretch. I was stretching my quads, my calves, everything started to go. I called my fiance and we were on the phone for about 3 to 4 miles, and she was just helping talk me through everything. I was just like, how am I gonna finish this? We flew all the way from Oklahoma just for this race and I'm selling right now. Like, it was bad. At this point, my goal quickly shifted into just finishing the race. And running up that bridge on the way back really hurt. That uphill killed me.
Legs have been cramping since mile 16. This is rough, bro. This is rough.
I tried to smile through the pain by the cameraman, and you can tell from these pictures, but I was dying on the inside. The thing was, my quads went out first, and then so I tried to stretch them out by doing the quad stretch, and so I lift up my leg, and as soon as that happens, my hamstring started to buckle. So now I'm like, bro, I'm cooked for real. But I gotta give a shout out to this random guy on the bridge, because we were working together and pushing each other for a few miles. I would pass him, and then I'd need to stop, walk, and stretch out, and then he would pass me, and he would do the same, and we pretty much just kept passing each other. It was funny, and it was a really good push for both of us. I think we both needed that. So I'm looking down at my watch, and I'm like, all right, we gotta go under 3 hours and 30 minutes. I think I was at 3:10 with 2 miles to go. I was like, I just need to average 10-minute pace for these last 2 miles, and I'll go under 3:30. I was just telling myself I can do this. I had people texting me like, yo, what happened? Because they were tracking me and they just saw me slow down greatly. I was like, boys, I'm cooked right now. But we ended up crossing the finish line in 3 hours, 29 minutes, and 30 seconds or so. We finished, I think, in 30th place. So I had gone from being in the top 10 to around 30th place. Definitely not the time that I wanted to hit or thought that I could run. But we did finish after cramping up and hitting that wall so early on in the race. And I'm not super disappointed. At the end of the day, this was the first time that I was running a marathon. It was my longest run by 4 miles. Some people might say that's not a bad time at all, but just given my history with running, I definitely wanted to be a little bit faster. And I will for the next one. You can see from this video, as soon as I cross the finish line, I just start walking. Like, I literally, as soon as I cross the line, I just stop. I was so fed up. I was just so ready to be done. In the end, it was a great experience. My boys had come out to cheer me on at the finish line, which was really awesome. I lived within walking distance of the finish line, so right after the race, we started walking back. But then I still had my parents drive me back because I could not walk, and I couldn't walk for days after. Comment down below if you think I went out too fast. I think I did a little bit, but I was fueling good, taking my gels when I needed to, and staying hydrated. But it was just a rough day. Next on the racing calendar, we have the Oklahoma City Marathon on April 26th. I'm recording this video in January. I know I raced it in October, but I'm finally getting around to posting some content about it. That's really all I have lined up for 2026. I'm gonna try to get into the New York lottery for November, but again, I'm not getting my hopes up with that. I would like to race again towards the end of the year, but I am getting married in December, so I might need to pick up racing again in 2027. Comment down below what races you have planned for 2026 and any recommendations of marathons or even half marathons that are cool. We'll get into triathlon races in another few years. Thank you guys for tuning into this video. Hopefully it was a little bit insightful. Make sure you subscribe if you want to follow my marathon journey. I'm currently grinding on the 90-day hard challenge and the 1 sub equals 1 run challenge, so if you want to check those out, they'll be linked down below, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Every half mile was just like stop and go. Like, I would stop to stretch on the bridge.
How do you feel?
That was so fucking hard.